Folks, good evening. I tell you, people, you remember Marvin Gaye. A lot of you, everybody knows Marvin Gaye. I don't care what your age is. Uh, this one of the songs he made in the 70s because it was so chaotic in the black community, and then with our elected officials, our government officials, with the police, with the Vietnam War going on. He said, like, what's going on? Here it is. I mean, wow, 50 years later, almost 50 years later, and this song is still relevant today. So I want to ask you, what is going on? First of all, I want to welcome to the show with Reaching Out with Eddie. What is really going on? Why is it that when the law is so obvious, people, I talked to you about me going before. I'm the one that filed a petition. And the law allows for me to petition the city, the county, or the state anytime I suspect that a candidate is not qualified or a candidate has vacated his district or his ward or you have district, you have the state. If the governor move out of the state of Mississippi, he's no longer qualified to be governor of the state of Mississippi. Simple as that. And I could bring charges against him. I'm the one that brought the charges against Tyrone Johnson. And people, I have a video here. Can you play that video? Yeah, but I'm going to play the video where he admits. Now, I asked him before the city council, do you live in Ward 1? He looked as if he stole something. I thought maybe the other council members would be, wow. And I gave each of them a copy of the law. The only person who appeared to be on board with this was Weston Lindemann. And here you have the city attorney Kermit, I think that's his name, sitting there like he's amazed, or they had to know about this. And people, I can tell you this, is that it's got to be some kind of kickbacks going on. Now, I've heard this now from more than one person. I got information from one person, and it was verified by another person. Now, it was verified by, well, it doesn't matter who it was verified by, but it was verified. So I'm going to talk to you about it. Because since two people told me the exact same thing, well, you know what God say, when two or more people gather in his name, then it's the truth. Well, when two people that actually tell you the same thing that's in the know, from when McGreevy was the CAO of Meridian, he was paid additional salaries by the business community in Meridian, such as, I'm going to give some names, such as Bob Luke, such as, what's the guy, Ralph Morgan, such as, you know what I'm saying? I didn't say it's those people that are doing it, but the community, the business community paid them additional money so that he would stay there. It's got to be the same thing with our city council. When you have a council government doing everything at the beguise of one person, or you have a council government that's sticking together, attempting to circumvent the law, I thought maybe George Thomas would be appalled, would really be upset, because he's always talking about the law. He was my professor. I've lost respect for almost all of the council members. And the reason why is because these people, I'm going to call, they're kind of like the Republican Party with Donald Trump. Allow for him to break the law, allowing for him to do what he wants to do. And that's where you come in. We cannot allow for any of our elected officials to circumvent the law, and then they want to take us to jail. They want to tell us that we're doing this wrong. Everything in this community is suspect. People, I've been bamboozled. You have been bamboozled. Wow, what in the world are you talking about? What I'm telling you about is that I was one of the few people, among the first people, that Percy Bland reached out to when he first ran for office. Hey, we ran the first time. I attempted to talk to him, and one of the things that was said, I'm kind of like do the little elliptic points, meaning I'm going to leave some things out. He didn't choose me to help him the first time he ran because he didn't know about me. When he found out about me, he came to me. He came to me long before he announced that he was actually running, but he was already talking to John Robert Smith. John Robert Smith is the Republican mayor that was there before Sherry Berry. Obviously, they were dissatisfied with Sherry Berry. This is the Republican community. was dissatisfied. Now, when we're talking about Republican community, we're talking about the white community. Very dissatisfied with her because they went and got someone to unseat her. They knew that one of them could not have done so, but they knew because they playing things. So we know that Willie Lynch is not true. But if you look at that story, the part of that story is true, how the other community playing so far ahead. I've said this before, in Germany, when I was in Germany, the Germans go and shop and buy groceries every day. They had a little, what we call the apartment size, or the dorm size refrigerator. That's what they have in their house because they go to the market every day. We have the big refrigerator, then we have a deep freezer, maybe two sometimes, because because it's a difference between the way we shop and the way they shop. We're like those German black folk. We're like those German. We can't plan far ahead. We can only plan and look at right here, right now. That's the reason why we're not doing good, because we're so stuck in satisfying immediate gratification right here, right now. But the white community, the Caucasian, the Republican community, they plan things like we buy our food. We buy our food to last us a long time. And back in the day, they used to do what you call canning. When the food ran out, that's how they plan things. Long before John Robert Smith got out of office, he saw, because he started doing things. Now, this is me making my summation. John Robert Smith started doing things while he was the mayor of Meridian, such as expanded the boundary lines. That's how we got Briarwood. He went out and what they call annex. He started doing annexation. He started making the city of Meridian bigger and bigger and bigger, trying to keep the white majority, but the white flight kept happening. So a lot of the places, Dolores, when you were here, where white folks live, no, black people live there now. So he saw that, so they put a plan into place then. They knew that they was not going to be able to keep getting reelected as a white Republican, male or female. They was dissatisfied with Sherry Berry, so they wanted her gone. They went and got him. Actually, they went and got Percy Bland. Sherry Berry beat him the first time, but he beat her the second time. They actually went and got him. Prior to Percy Bland running as a Democrat, his whole family and everybody, Republicans in Jackson and where they're from and everywhere they voted. And you can look at Percy Bland. When he became mayor, all of his department heads were white male Republicans. Richard McAllister was a Republican. He went to Sherry Berry first wanting to help her, but she wouldn't have anything to do with it, so he went to Percy Bland. Hugh Smith, from what I understand, is a black Republican. You look at Lou Robbins, who's going to be our next chief of police, is a white Republican. Laura Carmichael, over community development, and hadn't been in any development in our community, is a white Republican female whose husband used to be the chairman of the Republican Party. Now, I don't know her name, but maybe one of you guys can call her, but her husband, she works for Percy Bland. Her husband is the current president of the Republican Party. Folks, what the hell's going on? Can you see if it walk like a duck and quack like a duck's a duck? So Percy Bland is doing everything for that community. Look at Robbie Jones, the judge in city court. He is a Republican. The city prosecutor, a white male Republican. A white female Republican. Her and her husband, they are the prosecutor and the assistant prosecutor. The defense attorney, Jensen, a black Democrat, was fired by Percy Bland, and he brought on a white male Republican. So you understand what's going on here, folks? They done took, Percy's running as a Democrat, but he is not a Democrat. Don't let him give you somebody like Stacey Thomas, very sweet. And from what I understand, I think she's doing a good job. She's black female. And then, of course, you got Christy Walker. I don't know about Christy. I don't know about her. I don't know what she is. It doesn't really matter. Is she adverse, or is she doing anything productive or good in this community? If she's the personnel director and they want, and here, let's just tie this thing in. Percy, every time a white male Republican come into town, Percy run and smile up in their face and meet and greet them. When the four supervisors won, Percy Bland was standing next to Wayman Newell. I thought they were lovers. He was so close to him. I don't mean any pun there. I'm just telling it as I saw it. He has never supported any Democrat at all. He didn't support Craig Houston. He didn't support Loretta Allen. He didn't support Marie Franklin. He didn't support Joe Norwood. He didn't congratulate him. He didn't support anyone. But he can go on a national level and endorse Mike Bloomberg. He doesn't even know the guy. I'm told that he was paid $1,000. Him and the other 1,000 mayors, or 100, however many it was. The man definitely had the money. So I'm telling you what I was told. I don't know whether it's factual, but it's suspect. But look at our community. So here I go. I just make a statement about Tyrone Johnson not living in Ward 1. Once I said that, they had a duty according to the law to investigate whether or not it was true. But I had not made any formal charges. So I got on the agenda. And I went before the city council Tuesday. And I presented a very well, it was very well organized. I had a schedule. I gave everybody a schedule. I gave each of them, including the city attorney. Exhibit A was a deed of trust that had the amount of money that Tyrone Johnson pays per month. We rounded up $1,800 a month. Now that's not including gas bill, water bill, light bill, and insurance. Now you look at his salary, the kind of house that he stay in. I had a teacher tell me this. She said, I've been working for Meridian Public School for 34 years and I can't afford a house like that. So, warranty deed, Exhibit B, and it's in Ward 1. Now, I didn't just have a warranty deed. I went and what I want Weston Linderman to do is I'm fixing to answer this phone here, folks. Weston, I'm on the air, so you could call in if you want to or send me a text, but everybody hear me talking to you right now.
Okay, sorry about that. I just read what you sent me. I was just going to give you my thoughts on it.
Well, while you're on the phone and everything, you can kind of speak up a little bit, and I'm going to talk about this law. They cannot, according to Mississippi law, they cannot keep me from speaking tomorrow because the law requires him to speak and give his evidence and require me to speak also and present my evidence again and rebut him. That's the law requires that, and that's what I sent to you, and I'm going to read in that law over the air. So Kim Houston cannot create laws that she's not the state of Mississippi. While she might be a preacher, she's not God in their church, and she's most certainly not the Senate and the House, and she's most certainly not the Mississippi Constitution. And the Mississippi Constitution, along with Mississippi codes, will put her butt in jail. And so now I sent you the law. I expect y'all to enforce the law. I expect to be able to speak tomorrow because I'm coming there and I'm coming there prepared. And she cannot create a situation where I cannot speak because I'm the one that brought that petition before the city of Meridian.
Right. Yep, you'll get your opportunity for sure.
All right, thank you for calling in. And do call in if the people didn't hear. And thank you again. Bye.
All right.
Folks, that was Weston Linderman over the phone. And the reason why I'm telling you about all this, what is Kim Houston's motive? What is her motive, folk, for not reading this law? Kim don't know me, people. Will some of you out there call her and tell her how I fight? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Whenever I go squirrel hunting, I used to use a shotgun. I use an elephant gun now. When I use a shotgun, not much meat for me to eat. When I use an elephant gun, ain't nothing for me to eat. Everything is totally annihilated. Now that's how I fight now. Do you really want this battle? Look at the law. Look at the law now. Understand that vilify me and giving and lying what Tyrone did. I didn't even call in for a retraction. Tyrone lied. Like I'm attempting to impugn his character. The law is doing that. The law is doing, not me. And the law use words like shall. It don't use words like maybe, can, or that Kim can go and create a series of rules. It says that she got investigated. It didn't say anything about making no rules. It said the law is pretty clear. And I'm finna read the law to you right now, then we're going to get back to Kim Houston. Right now, can I just take a small break, kind of like to organize, and I'm going to get the Dice Man to play me a song, and then I'm going to have him to play the video of Tyrone Johnson stating that he no longer live in Ward 1. But when he talked to Meridian Star, tempted me, so we fixing to play that now. Play me a song, Dice Man. Okay, okay, people. What deals with election codes? on the Code of Mississippi of 1972 is Section 2315-963 of the law. And it says that, and this is paragraph 3, exclusive, let me just read what this law said. Exclusive procedures for contesting qualification of candidates for general election and the exceptions. Now, folks, Marie Franklin knows, I don't know why she's calling in. I don't know whether they can hear me, so Marie Franklin, I am on the air. What's going on?
I'm just trying to call in because there's no. And then I need to ask you, what did Kim Houston, I came in a little late, what did Kim Houston say?
But I want you to call in on the show. You calling me on my phone.
I know I'm trying to call in on the show and it won't answer. It won't pick up.
Okay.
I'll try again. I'll try again.
All right.
All right.
People, that was Marie Franklin trying to call in. And I'll tell you guys, and then people, another thing too is that I know Marie probably want to put in with a question. Another thing you can do, you can always watch my videos here. My videos are there. And so this is the section 2315-963 of the Mississippi Code, annotated. Any person desiring to contest the qualification of another person who has qualified pursuant to the provision of Section 2315-361 Mississippi Code of 1972 as a candidate for municipal office elected on the date designated by law for regular municipal election shall file a petition specifically setting forth the grounds of the challenge. And I've done that. Now, this here says no later than 31 days after the date of the first primary election, set forth in Section 2315-309. That's, again, Mississippi Code of 1972. Such petition shall be filed with the Municipal Commission of Election, being the same body with whom the candidate in question qualified pursuant to Section 2115-361. Now, this is then. Now, understand it says that any person. Now, go down to Section 4, what I'm finna read to you. Now, the part of what I went in yesterday is telling you the procedures, Mississippi Code 2315-857-2 and 2013. It tells you what to do when, like what I did yesterday. And I'm going to read that to you. But I want to read this part here to you too. It says that within 10 days of the receipt of the petition described in Section 1, 2, and 3 of this section, the appropriate election official shall meet and rule upon the petition. At least 2 days before the hearing to consider the petition, the appropriate election official shall give notice to both the petitioner and the contested candidate at the time and place of the hearing on the petition. Each party shall be given an opportunity to be heard at such meeting and present evidence in support of his position. Tyrone Johnson cannot just submit a light bill and a water bill. He got to submit whatever he said, submit. He got to prove it to the council. Anybody can create a document. Folks, I'm guilty. I'm just telling you, I've done it before. I've helped a person by drawing up a lease on the computer and gave it to them so that they could get their driver's license in Mississippi when they lived in Alabama. I can prove it to you right now. I can prove it to you. I've done it. It's so easy to do that. So all Tyrone Johnson got to do based on what Kim Houston is saying is that, okay, we got somebody calling in now, so we'll take that. Go ahead, caller. You on the air?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Adult.
Good evening.
Okay. I came in a few minutes late. Can you explain to me what is it that Kim Bonnie Houston says? Where did her name get brought in this?
Okay, people. I haven't explained it to him, Marie, but
okay. Wait a minute. You can do that later, then. That's
I haven't explained that yet, but I am. So I will just keep listening. I'm going to tie all this in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Forget that. Let me say one more thing, though.
Go ahead.
I want you to remind your people, you know, that whenever we get ready to take on a fight, they throw in a lot of crazy stuff to take the attention off of the real stuff.
That's right. And
go with your A game, honey.
Okay. Thank you for calling in.
All right.
Okay, I want to read you guys the law that I gave to the council. Any person who shall knowingly procure, that's like go out and get or be or do, his or her person's registration as a qualified elector. Now, this law would also apply to a person, qualified elector. In order for Tyrone Johnson to be where he is, he has to be a qualified elector. Now, the law said, this is 97. Now, this is a criminal code where you can go to prison. It's that any person who procure his or any person's registration as a qualified elector. So if he go out and get documents and create documents to be a qualified elector and he's not one, it's that when that person whose registration is being procured is not entitled to be registered as such. And the law is clear. Under a false name or any other thing, or any other election precinct that in which he or she addressed, shall on conviction be imprisoned in the state penitentiary for a term not to exceed 5 years or be fined not more than $5,000 or both. Or both. That's what Tyrone Johnson is facing. I already know that he went to Angela Chaney and asked her. Now, if this fight got to go further, I'm going to subpoena Angela Chaney to court. I mean, yes. I mean, if it goes, I'm going to subpoena her to court. So under oath, she will repeat that. If this goes further, I'm going to subpoena Kara Smith. I'm going to subpoena her to court, showing that Tyrone Johnson falsely subleased her house out to his sister, and he was under pretense act like he stayed there. I'm going to definitely subpoena that he kicked her door in, from what I'm told, that he left her house in such a disarray that she had to file a lawsuit against him. I have 2 videos that I'm going to play for you, and I want you to play one of them, Dice. It doesn't matter which one of them. One of them, he's saying one thing, and on another, he's saying that she threw him out. So let's play these dice with. Now, you know what the truth bears witness to itself. You can tell it the same way if it's 1,000 years from now, because it's the truth. But a lot changed from story to story. Play both of those videos for me, Dice Man.
And then at the house I'm staying at now, because I had to move out that house now, so temporarily, recently, up to a couple of weeks, yeah, I'm out of my district up to a couple of weeks. And the reason why is because me and my landlord lady had a disagreement about the house, and boom, she told me, hey, 30 days apartment in my district, because I plan to return my district. I ain't doing nothing illegal. I wasn't trying to do nothing unethical. But these last little 2 to 3 weeks, I've been searching very hard for, an apartment or a house that's in my district where I will be staying at. People crazy. Okay? So let me tell you this. So
okay.
Then...
Okay, as you can see, folks, that you just seen both videos. One is saying one thing and another one is saying something else. But both of them clearly says that he does not live in Ward 2 anymore and he's looking for somewhere to stay there. Well, in order to be a qualified elector, you got to be there 30 days before you live. He abandoned his ward. Folks, I gave them a deed of trust. They got it already. He made his first payment November the 1st. He went and voted on November the 6th, so he broke that law. Now, I don't know what Kim Barnett Houston. Now, let me just tell y'all what Kim Barnett. Let me read this here. It said, when it shall happen that there is a vacancy, and this is Mississippi Code 23-1587, paragraph 2, 2013. This is a year, I guess it was amended and approved by the legislature. When it shall happen that there is any vacancy in any elected office in a city, town, or village, the expired term which shall exceed 6 months, the governing authority, that's the city council, or remainder of the governing authority of said city, town, or village shall make and enter on the minutes in order for an election to be held in such city, town, or village to fill that vacancy, and fix a date upon which such election shall be held. Such order shall be made and entered upon the minutes of the next regular meeting of the governing authority. They just done that, and so they're going to have a hearing. After such vacancy shall occur, or at a special meeting to be held not later than 10 days, and they're within the 10 days, whichever shall occur first, which election shall be held on a date not less than 30 days or more than 45 days after the date upon which the order is adopted. Once they adopt that order, they got to have an election no less than 30 days and no more than 45 days. Now, what they're attempting to do is circumvent the law, folks. Kim Barnett Houston is going to be the president in charge. Tyrone Johnson can't be. He cannot sit in this hearing. It's nothing for them to vote on, people. And that is the truth, because the law is clear. It said that them to investigate, and they find it to be true. It didn't say make a vote and a unanimous vote. Kim Bernie Houston done took over, and she done created a set of rules where she gonna allow for 5 unbiased people to speak in the audience, and each one of them get one question that they can ask. And the 5 people or the city council can ask 5 questions. Wow, what the hell? That is not what the law said, folks. Now we gotta ask Kim Bernie Houston, who you working for, who you represent, how much money are these group of folks giving you? Here this is a woman of God. You are not God. What in it that you're doing is God-like? Why is it that you gonna circumvent the law? Do you really think, Kim, I'm gonna press charges against you? Folks, I ain't just talking. See, you know what? Leaders are not born, they're made. And what I mean by that is you're making me do this, because I'm not gonna go away quiet until the night you gonna know you've been in a fight with me. Percy, do y'all really want this shit? You done created a quagmire. Send that nigga down the road. He the one, he made this bed up. He stated on his video that he was looking for a place to stay for 2 years. He had a realtor and he found it there. Folks, do you know how many empty houses and apartments that are available for rent in Ward 2? This man by choice abandoned his ward. The law is clear. I'm fixing to read something else to you people right now. This here is, again, section 2315. It deals with election. Exclusive procedure for contesting qualification of candidates for general election. Now it says here, the procedure set forth shall be the sole and only manner in which qualification of a candidate seeking public office who qualify pursuant to provision in section 2315-359 and 2315-213 and 2315-361 Mississippi Code of 1972 may be challenged prior to the time of the election. Any such person has been elected to public office, the election may be challenged as otherwise provided by law. Again, let me read it to you again now. After any such person has been elected to public office. Do I need to read it again? After any such person has been elected to public office, the election may be challenged as otherwise provided by law. Any other person assume an elective office, his qualification to hold office may be contested as otherwise provided by law. Now let me explain to you what otherwise provided by law means. That means that except if there is another law provided. You understand? Do I need to read this to you again? So Kim Bernie Houston said that they gonna pick 5 unbiased and impartial witnesses out of the audience. What the hell? How can she make that determination? That's not what the law. I don't see. I ain't read this anywhere. I haven't seen this anywhere in the law that it says that she has. The law is clear when it says shall and mandatory. Kim, I'm gonna try my best to put your line. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry for calling you a liar, but I'm gonna try my best to put you in jail. Tyrone Johnson, I'm gonna try my best to put you in jail. Do y'all think that you can have some kind of kangaroo court tomorrow, some kind of kangaroo hearing, and you think I'm going to go away quiet after you all get together and create a situation? Do you know the reason why Percy Tell hadn't went to jail? Because his ass is corrupted, and they know that. They don't want to put the first black mayor in jail. Well, it's a lot of them has went to jail, and he need to go to jail. But Kim, you are not the first black supervisor or the first black city council person. Now you read this law here and you disobey. Do you think that I'm not going to go to the Attorney General immediately after hearing if y'all have some kind of kangaroo court? Do you think that I'm not going to go in the circuit court and file an immediate appeal based on this law right here that I just read you? I know you listening. I want you to understand. You know what? I'm a small man and I fight very, very good. But I'd be crazy as hell to get in a damn fight with Deontay Wilder. I must be crazy unless I got a gun. And some of you would be crazy getting in a fight with me because I fight very well. I'm talking about physically fight very well. But there's some folks out there that can beat me. And I want to say this to you. You got to be crazy as hell to fight with me. You got to be. With the law, I'm Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. You think I would fight when Mike Tyson was in the day? He could fight real good, and I had a karate school. You know what, man? I wouldn't have fought Mike Tyson. It's ludicrous. I'm not this person that y'all been dealing with that you can tell things, lie, just say anything. You can't tell me anything. I like to think that I have an average intelligence quotient. I would like to think that mine's average. But I'm able to research and interpret the law, and I'm definitely going to do that. I've done that already. I made your job easy for you. You guys should have looked at the facts. And Kermit, the attorney, now I call you a lapdog. I apologize for that. But something is going on. Man, is it really important? I heard you did a stellar job in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. How is it that you come to Meridian, Mississippi, where you're from, and you can see all this corruption going on, and you allow for it to happen? Some jobs not worth taking. Everybody that got their fingerprints on this thing, George Thomas, I've lost all respect for you. I really have, because you was my teacher in college. I've always had respect for you. I have not always agreed with most of your decisions. I have not agreed with most of the decisions or your position on things dealing with the city of Meridian. Do you realize, George Thomas, under your watch, that the citizens in Meridian, the number of citizens in Meridian has went down? The quality of life in Meridian has went down? And that's okay with you because the Meridian is a majority black city. But damn it, George, I always thought that you stood up for the letter of the law and what's right. And in this case, you turn another go away because you know what you're saying. You don't really care. You don't really give a damn because it's dealing with black folk. But you understand the white folks come here to quality of life in the city of Meridian. They don't look at the city of Meridian. They look at the city of Meridian as a whole, as a place not to come. It's not a place where you can raise your children. It's not safe for anybody. George, you helped created that. Kim, you helped create this situation also. Tyrone Johnson had a bright future, and you guys have destroyed it. Don't take the money. Dice Man, play me a song, please. Folks, because our elected officials set rules, and you know, you got to really, what in the world is going on? Because our elected officials set rules for us, and it doesn't mean that we have to go by those rules if those rules are adverse or against the law. In this case, the rules are against the law. I keep getting people trying to call in and everything, but I guess, yeah, the phone. Miss you, you calling in, and I'm doing my show right now, but the folks can't hear you. I got you on speakerphone.
Oh, I didn't know you was doing your show. I need to tune in then, okay.
Yeah, and the number to call in will be flashed up on the screen.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Well, we have a caller calling in. Caller, go ahead. Caller, you on the air?
Okay. Now, I want to say this. This is extremely unfortunate. This is absolute corruption at its best, because Kimberly Houston does not live in District 2. So who is she as one council person to decide who gets to speak or who they get to ask questions? What about people who live in District 2 who want to say something? That's who it needs to come from. This is wrong, and wrong at its best.
One of the things that they're trying to do is trying to keep me from speaking, but according to the law, it is my duty. I'm the one that brought the petition. They cannot keep me from speaking. If they do, they'll be breaking the law. And if Tyrone Johnson create documents or get somebody to lie, wow, man, do you think black people gonna hold up when the police come to them, when the Attorney General sent and I talked to the special investigator. I did talk to him. And I'm gonna be calling them again tomorrow if this thing don't go like it's supposed to go. If they trying to circumvent the law.
The most important thing is, how can you come in when the law is clear and add something to it? You can't add and take away from the law. The law does not say, well, if this happens, then you bring in and ask questions. You just can't add to the law. what they're trying to do is add to it so that you can go further with your complaint. And by that time, because I'm telling you, the Attorney General's office is not working for the city of Meridian.
Okay, well, slow down a little,
County.
calm down. I understand you're upset because it upsets me too. But I have another recourse. That's just, you folks, you got to, and thank you for calling, Marie, but hold on a little bit if you got something else to say. But I'm fixing to say that. People, listen to me. I want you to call in. Leave your comments in the comment section. But I want you to know, I just told you how I fight. I used to use a shotgun. I don't use a shotgun anymore. I use an elephant gun. I used to be not much meat for me to eat, but in this case, it's not anything for me to eat. But that's just one of the things that I'm going to do. If they go and try to circumvent the law, I'm most certainly going to I'm going to amend my complaint with the Attorney General's office. But not only that, the law says that I can go straight into circuit court, and the circuit court would have to give me a hearing also within 10 days. So I'm going to do that too. So it's a double-edged sword. I'm not just going to fight like that. I'm going to fight both ways. And then not only that, I'm going to see if I can sign a warrant against them. If not with the Meridian Police Department, I'm going to try to sign a warrant with a Justice Court judge. Now, see, here's the problem with that. Now, everybody knows that they're breaking the law, but because they've been selecting our officials for us, and because this same group of people that enrich themselves is paying everybody off with the sack of money, supplementing their income, then these people is not going to let me sign a warrant probably. So that's when I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go all the way. If I have to go to the Justice Department, I'm gonna do everything. It doesn't matter to me. I'm retired, so I can just sit here and call all day long. Okay, I'm gonna let you come in and sign a warrant against Kim. I'm gonna let you come in and sign a warrant against Tyrone Johnson, because whatever they do tomorrow is gonna be on a record and it's public information. I'm gonna ask for a copy of that record, and I'm gonna send it to the Attorney General. I'm gonna send it to the Justice Department, because we're dealing with black folks and we're dealing with people's lives. It's something going on when a person can live in a house like that and doesn't have an income to support that. That suggests to me that person is getting him something to supplement his income. Kim got to be getting the same thing, because she's finna set in and try to protect him. But this here is supposed to be a woman of God. And that really bothers me. And here's the thing, another thing I want to say to all of you people that are out there listening and talking about this meeting that you had at the Boys and Girls Club, and God knows I have a lot of respect for Ricky Hood. But damn it, why ain't y'all ass coming down to the place when we have this thing tomorrow? Why didn't you guys come Tuesday? This is something very important, because everything is leadership. As long as you allow for our leaders to continue to do what they want to do and circumvent the law and do the quality of life in Meridian will never change, and our children will keep on committing crime.
And I just gonna say this: the most sad and upsetting thing about this all is they can say what they wanna, but they are working against the same people that they're supposed to be working for. They're working against us.
Yeah,
and that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Thank you for calling in, Marie. And folks, I want you to call in. I want you to call in, and the number's flashing up on the screen, and I want you to like us, and I want you to subscribe. This is what we do here. And you know, the Meridian Star, I think, I read a story today that kind of got it right, but they didn't get it right. And you know, when I walked out of there, now everybody had the opportunity to come and ask me a question. Will you hold on a while so we can talk to you? They know how to get in touch with me. I went to the Meridian Star with this complaint, but then they had something to say after I go there. So and that's the reason why your circulation is very poor. That's the reason why if you did the kind of news, real news, tell people what they really need to hear instead of what you want them to hear, and try to vilify everybody, make everybody look bad, and just tell a good story, and that's okay. But then you're lying on folk. Or either you withholding information, and that's not fair to this community. And young people, you got to get engaged. You got to stop letting people my age and older choose for you. It's too many of you. You're the sleeping giant. You're the elephant. And so you got to get engaged if you want a better quality of life. People that are not like you don't care about you. You owe it to yourself to get out and do things for yourself and for your community and for your children. You got to. Because it's not happening. You cannot expect anyone that's not like you to care about you. And I'm talking about old black folks, and I'm talking about all white folk. You just cannot. The only way a tree keep coming back every season after season is because the roots. Because of the roots. If the roots didn't grow, if you kill the roots, you kill the tree. You guys are the roots, and you're not doing anything to enrich your life or make life better. I want to call upon all of you to send it to all your Facebook friends. Send it all to everybody that's in your phone. Tell them to pack City Hall tomorrow and demand justice. You don't know about this because they didn't want you to know about this, because Tyrone Johnson obviously is their lapdog. When I said there, I'm not talking about all of you white folk. I'm talking about that same little group of white folk that keep enriching themselves off nothingness. Dice Man, is any chats in the chat room? Yeah. Read some of them so we can respond.
Okay. We got to respond to going back to the John Robert Smith saying actually he annexed more area, but he allowed the inner city to die out. That's a real problem. There's hardly any tax base in the city. And
you are correct, but it had a lot to do with taxes, but it had more to do with white flight. And so they had to set in a plan, and they done that, and it's worked very well with Percy Bland. You look at him, people. He is not he's not a Democrat, and he is so arrogant, just like Donald Trump. Now I believe that Donald Trump will be reelected. I mean, I just gotta call it like I see it, because too many people that are not like us, they love that man because of the things he say. What everybody been wanting to say. A lot of you out there like me, not so much because of the person I am, because I say the things you want to say, but you don't have the nerves to say it. That's why they love Donald Trump. But people, Dice, is there anything that you can say on this?
No, I don't see anything to say. You do have some more comments here, though.
Go ahead.
You have another comment says they are working together to keep him in that seat.
And that is true. That is true. But that's not what the law say. They cannot. And all you need is there's no vote to vote on it. If the facts are there that he doesn't live there, then they got to do according to the law.
And another one says there's a video circulating where the councilman admits to moving out of his ward. Will that not be addressed? I think you already addressed.
Yeah, I showed that video, and that is true, and that is so. But the Supreme Court has ruled on this very thing, and so what? And it was actually somebody was running for district attorney, and the person won in with the election commissioners and in county court. The Supreme Court of Mississippi turned around and said, for the purpose of election, your domicile and your residence is the same thing. And your residence is going to be where your family is. If you got a family living in one place, there's no way you can say that you're living somewhere else. The Supreme Court has already ruled on this. Dice, some more comments?
No, that's it.
Yeah, and so, and I'm going to have all of this there tomorrow. So, folks, I encourage you to be there. Tell somebody to be there. And look how they set this thing at 9 o'clock. They said it at 9 o'clock in the morning so that people won't be there. I would like to tell the Smith, Jimmy, you haven't been in public in a long time. It's time for you and your wife to go to the city hall, because this is about you guys. This man going to go down there and tell a lie that he's just living there, or he still live there, or that you put him out. You can't allow for them to impugn your character. If that's not true, then not only is it's your duty to go down there and tell the city council that he's lying. It's your duty. It's your duty to go down there and tell when. It is the duty of the city council to go downstairs and see how long. They don't even have to go look at a water bill, because a water bill is not evidence that you live somewhere. A driver's license is not evidence that you live somewhere. My son had Mississippi license and he was living in Alabama. I had Alabama license and Mississippi license. And so the thing of it is, a license is not evidence of where you live. Evidence of where you live at is where your family is where you live. Do you really think that a man gonna have his wife live in one place and he living somewhere else? No. I mean, how can he be a father to his children if he's away from the house 5 days of the week? Do you really think that this is so? They're trying to circumvent the law, and we cannot allow for them to do that. Folks, I will not allow for them to do that. At the end of the day, Tyrone Johnson has abandoned his seat. Even moving back into the city, he still is not eligible to be the city council because he will have to run. He's already live in another district. Comment. Go ahead.
Yes. We got two of them. Another one says, I took off work to attend.
Thank you.
I don't know you personally, but I support your fight. And then another one says, they put it up early on Tuesday in order for people who wanted to support you to not be would not be late. Okay. I guess
They put it up early on Tuesday so they wouldn't be late.
They put it up early on Tuesday in order for people who wanted to support you would be late. Okay.
I think I left out probably. Maybe. I don't know, Carl. Could you maybe reiterate what it is that you're actually trying to say? I don't want to speculate or assume what you're saying. So they had it, in my opinion, they have it at 9 o'clock in the morning because most people have to be to work at that time. And a lot of us, young folks, don't even get up at that time. But at 5 o'clock, a lot of people could be there because most people, they should probably have it, in my opinion, probably maybe about 5:30 if they wanted people to be there. If they wanted this public, this is an issue that deals with the entire public, and they should not be able to circumvent it any type of way. We're going to take this call. Caller, you on the air?
Okay, good evening. What I'm saying is the citizens' comment is always at the end of the meeting. And they moved it up at the beginning of the meeting. So anyone would have figured, well, you're not going to be on till about 5:30. But they, by 5:20, you was already gone. They put it up at the beginning, and they never do that.
But it was something that I wanted, and it was something that they did, and I appreciate them doing that. If it happened again, there's nothing that they could do to throw me off my A game. I would stay there because perhaps if I had stayed there, then the council people would have had questions to ask me, and I was told by one of them that they would have asked me a question. But I let them throw me off my A game, meaning that he started saying things. He had a lot to say. In my opinion, see, a man don't wait till another man turn his back and then start swinging at him, fighting at him. A man gonna go toe-to-toe with another man. When I was up there making all my accusations, he didn't say anything. When I asked him to speak, he did not say anything. I asked him to tell the people that you don't live in Ward 2 anymore. That admit that you live. Now, he have to admit now. He wasn't admitting it at first, but he got to admit it now. So this little lie he told in the newspaper, somebody trying to impugn his character, I didn't do anything to him at all. Only thing I did was made the city council aware that he was breaking the law. So I didn't do anything to him.
But the minus to that is that after you left, you had about 10 people to come in support of you, thinking you're going to be at the end of the docket instead of at the beginning.
Yeah, and that's a very valid point. I'd like for them 10 people to be there tomorrow. We need to pack that. It needs to be standing room. As many citizens as it is in Meridian. And what I like about the white community, when something involves them, and white people, I got to tell you, this does involve you too. Because now you got people here on a local level. Now, I don't really care what's happening on a national level. I'm just telling the truth. But by the time it trickles down to us, it's not going to impact our lives. Whatever they do on a national level doesn't impact our lives that much. But what they do on a local level impact our lives immediately. And everybody needs to come to that hearing tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thank you for calling in, Marie.
All right.
It's funny how people, it's this young lady that keeps sending me a text. Why don't you call in? And I don't understand that. You're sending me text. When you send me a text, I'm here. I'm looking down at my phone. But call in. Leave a comment. And let the Dice Man read it. I don't want to call your name, but you keep doing it, I'm going to call your name. But anyway, people, I want to thank y'all for listening and calling in. I want to encourage all of you. I wanted to tell you that the plan that John Robert Smith put this plan in. John Robert Smith and the Republican Party put this plan together. I'll say, in the 80s, they started talking about it. By the 90s, they had implemented this plan. And it's working. Wow, it's working like Willie Lynch. It has us oppressed. We don't have any real jobs. I mean, there's no way that I thought that Percy was going to do the things that he did. But look how, and then you guys re-elected him. All the things that I was telling you, you see that thing come to pass. And people, we got to show him. A lot of us have came together, and we need to stay together. We need to empower our community. We need to go there tomorrow. And again, I want to reiterate that I have researched the law, and I will drive to Jackson. I'll drive to Washington, D.C. if I have to. I'm not going to let this thing go. Kim, if you make a mockery of this tomorrow, the Attorney General will know about it before you eat lunch. I promise you he will. And if you think that you are above the law, you better ask somebody. You better ask Larry Langford or somebody, the mayor of Detroit. Blosevich, if I'm saying his name right, who just got out of prison. This is a white man that just got out of prison, the governor of Illinois. If you think you're above the law, you're not. You tell me what black person able to do what they want to do, and it won't be long before they come after you. Sometimes, some people like Reverend Brown, who didn't do anything, but end up going to federal prison because they didn't want what he represent. They wanted to set an example, but it didn't stop because then we got another person came in and was reelected, and that's Joe Norwood. But he's out there fighting by himself. We let Wayman Newell slip in there. And we keep, not them, we keep putting him back in there. And it's not about racism. It's about putting the most qualified person in that position. We need to have the most qualified person, regardless of what color they are, in all of the positions around here. Now, we know what's going on in the city court. We know what's going on with the city of Meridian. We knows what's going. Person finna pay the streets because he want to take away your issue of streets not being paid, and it's going to get done. And he has a temporary CAO, black. I think she's black, but look at the quality of life. He brought in somebody he don't even know. You gotta ask the question: how do person know this person? What is going on? How is it that Percy brought Louis Robin here, Lewis, what we say here, but we always call him Lou. How is it that he brought him? He retired with the DA. I remember I asked him to be on this show. It was recommended by another black police officer. Why don't you go ask him? But he hadn't called me. He's not coming on this show. I wouldn't be disrespectful, but I want to know, what are you qualified to do that you weren't qualified to do, 20-some years ago? We talking about 26 years ago, I guess, or more than that. Wow. I mean, if you're talking about 20 years, 93, 2003, wow, and this, oh man, we talking about 27 years ago. And the CAO is white. Wow, thank you for sending that in. So, another white Republican. And I think his name is, Doug Stevens or whatever name. Well, I don't know. But the thing of it is that we have a black mayor. So when you have a person that's in charge, but then you look around, everything is Republican and everything is something other than you, you understand that nobody's going to care about you. Nobody's going to care more about me than my mom or my dad or my sister, my brother. Tell me what white person down there going to care more about you than me or anybody else that's your kind. So we got to get this thing right. We got to get Percy up out of there. He keep disrespecting us. And people, I'm going to tell you what I saw. I raised my right hand to God, hope he knocked me down. I promise you, I ain't seen this in a long time. I left today. I left just to get away, and I came back. But on my way out of Meridian, I seen a black SUV that used to be white parked on the side of the road profiling folk. Wow, people, they already trying to get money. Why is it that Twin has to be in a black truck with all the windows and everything tinted out of it, and siren in the truck and police lights in the truck? Why did he has to have that and he's just an inspector? No other inspector has that. If he get behind somebody and pull them over, that person gonna stop. And if they got money and drugs, why do they want this back? It's not gonna. The only thing it's gonna do, it's all about the interstate. It's all about if they found a large sum of money here that they can keep that money, because police officers can't do what the drug task force do. People, I want to thank all of you for listening in. I'll see some of you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'm going there. I'm going to be prepared to speak. I'm going to have everything laid out. all the law laid out and highlighted. I'm going to start working on that now. I'm going to be as eloquent as I was before, and I'm going to deal with this thing. And if it doesn't go like we expect it to go, they cannot. Do you realize how Tyrone Johnson would be if he's allowed to stay in that seat? Nobody else is doing this. And this lie about Percy, everybody got to show residency, that's not true, Meridian Star. That's not true, other news outlets. That's not true. This is about Tyrone Johnson and nobody else. Why would Percy stand up and say that anyway? Because he wants Tyrone Johnson to be his yes man to get Louis Robin to be your next chief of police. Because without Tyrone Johnson vote, and without Tyrone Johnson vote, he might not get those 3 votes. But I think he would get it. I think the only person that probably won't give him would be probably Weston Linderman. But, you know, that's another fish that we're going to have to fry in the future. But whatever we choose more than a year from now, you understand that that's going to affect us for the next 4 years, and the quality of our life will get worse and worse, and corruption will grow. The only way evil men can do anything is that good folk don't do anything. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for listening. Dice Man, play the song.